What do you think happens after you die? Asking people that question will give you various different answers. And among all those answers, there always seem to be three that pops out the most. And that being heaven and hell, reincarnation, and last and certainly not least, nothing. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is unlike anything I've done before, and that is talking about what happens after death. Now, I don't want to waste any more time, so let's just hop into it. Heaven and hell. Now, going to heaven and hell is probably the most common belief many people think happens after you die. Whether you grew up believing it or believed it later on in your life, this idea has always been the most accepted outcome. Now first, let's talk about what heaven and hell is. Heaven. In some religions, the place, sometimes imagined to be in the sky, where God or the gods live, and where good people are believed to go after they die, so that they can enjoy perfect happiness. Hell. In some religions, this place where some people are believed to go after death to be punished forever for the bad things that they have done during their lives. So basically, how you acted during your lifetime will determine whether you go to heaven or hell. A lot of people cling on to this belief, mostly because they don't want to go to hell. There's many stories out there where people who were once bad people, they turn their life around because they're scared that when they die, they'll go to hell. And honestly, I find those type of stories really heartwarming. If you look up stories about people who apparently went to heaven, all the stories sound really peaceful and it gives you a great peace of mind. I found this one story where this person went to heaven and here's what they had to say. He hit a large tree. A tree to this day, people who lived across the street said was never there before that night. I died. I could hear him say, "She's not dead." I saw them zip up the bag over me. Then in a blink of an eye, I was standing in heaven. It was so beautiful that there is no words to describe the majestic glory that radiated. I could hear angels singing praise to God in the highest to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I wanted to go in those gates desperately. There is such a sense of overwhelming love and peace, and I wanted and craved more of it. I needed to go to God, but it wasn't my time. Jesus appeared to me, touched my shoulder, and told me that I had to go back, that my purpose has yet to be fulfilled. I remember turning and looking at this figure with such love, such desire to be near, and I said I didn't want to leave, and again I was told I must come back until my purpose has been fulfilled by the will of God. 3 days later, I woke up in ICU with absolutely nothing wrong with me. Hearing stories like that just make my heart feel at peace, bro. Like, if heaven truly is real, then knowing that that place is like so peaceful, like that just makes me happy. But then again, that is if you earn the right to go to heaven. Cause bro, if you ain't good, you already know where you're gonna go. But let's just hope that you lived a good life. Before we move on to the next session, I want to give my honest opinion about heaven and hell. For me personally, I do believe there is a heaven and hell, but at the same time, I have so many questions regarding it. Like, for example, let's say we have a person, right? And this person, he was a bad person. He wasn't like killing people bad, but he was like, like a bad person, like somebody you wouldn't want to be friends with. He never talked to people, he was always rude, and he always kept to himself, like that type of bad. A person like that shouldn't be able to enter heaven, right? But at the same time, does that person deserve to go to hell? Like, yeah, he wasn't a good person to where he should be accepted into heaven. But at the same time, do you really think he deserves to go to hell? I don't know. Things like that just makes it kind of confusing to me. Out of all of these questions regarding heaven and hell, I think all of these gets answered in the next section. Because next, we're going to be talking about reincarnation. Now, when I say reincarnation, I know a lot of you think about those trashy animes, but no.
What the f*** is that? What the f*** is that? What the f*** is that?
Now back to what I was saying. For the people who weren't exactly good people, nor bad people enough to go to hell, I think that maybe they get reincarnated so that they can get a second chance at life. Now that's just one reason why I think people get reincarnated. But another reason I believe people get reincarnated is because they haven't fulfilled their purpose. Let's say you really wanted to do something in your life, but sadly you died before you could achieve it. I feel like you can get reincarnated so then you can get a second chance at completing what you wanted to complete. Now honestly, compared to the 3 beliefs I'm talking about in this video, reincarnation probably has the most evidence out right now of it being actually true. There's so much stories out there that prove people have been reincarnated. Whether it be someone grandpa turning into their son, or somebody's sibling getting turned into like their cat or something. There's so many different stories. The story I'm about to show you is about a man and his nephew. My nephew, who are now grown, both would talk about previous lives they lived. My oldest nephew would always say that he died on his wedding night. All the family has heard him say that. Whenever the oldest rode by this particular house with an elderly gentleman that would sit outside every day during the warmer months, he would say adamantly, "Hey, that's Joe. He owes me $20. He would say it every single time he would go past him. Finally, his grandfather had enough and brought him to talk to Joe. When they came up to talk to him, his grandpa started the conversation saying something along the lines of, "Hey, I see you out here every day, and this is weird, but my grandson said he knows you." The old man just started laughing. His grandfather then goes on to say, "He says that your name is Joe, and you owe him $20. The old man goes pale as a ghost, and then replies that his name is indeed Joe, and then tells a story about his best friend who he did owe $20 to, but he died on his wedding night, so he couldn't pay him back. My nephew ended up becoming close with that older man afterwards. They sat outside for hours and just talked. My nephew was like 3 or 4 at the time." Bro, that story actually blows my mind. Like, imagine your younger sibling coming up to you and saying stuff like that. Bro, I might actually faint. Now, for my opinion regarding reincarnation, I do personally believe that it exists. And to make matters even worse, I think that I was reincarnated. Now, my sisters would always tell me that when I was young, I would always talk about how I was an old white man that liked to sit on my porch all morning. I don't know if that's true or not. For all I know, they could be making it up. But at the same time, they don't really talk to me about death like that. So it would be kind of weird if they were making it up. Who knows, bro? Maybe in my past life, I was just an old white dude. But let's move on to the final belief in this video. Nothing. Out of all the beliefs I talked about in this video, this one has to be probably the most realistic. The idea that when we die, nothing awaits us is both frightening and peaceful at the same time. I think it really just depends on the type of person you are. Bro, I remember my junior year of high school, it was me and my friends chilling in math class, and one of my friends started like freaking out because he was so scared to die, and he thought that like when you die, there would be nothing afterwards. And then me and my other friend, we had to tell him like, bro, that's not really what it is. I feel like so many people get the misconception wrong, that think that if you do see nothing, then like, that's it. But like, it's really not like that. Yeah, you will experience nothing, but you yourself will be nothing also, if that makes sense. Alright, think about it like this. You don't remember where you were at before you were born, right? Like, even before you're in your mom's stomach, like, you don't remember where you was at. But just think of it as this. When you die, you return to that place that you were in before you were born. But then again, if you think about it like that, that can also lead back to reincarnation. For example, look at this post I found on Reddit. I'm sort of veering towards the idea that as soon as we die, we begin another life straight away. Almost like reincarnation. I don't understand folk who said that there's nothing after, just blackness and nothingness. To me, that sounds identical to before we were born. And what did that lead to? Life. Why not again? Hey, he's not wrong at all, and he does make a good point. But at the same time, I think that the darkness and nothingness that you experience is supposed to be what the universe really is. I mean, if we're really taking it this far, the whole reason the universe started was by complete accident. Before then, it really was just nothing. We're all not supposed to be here in the first place. So who's to say that when we die, we just go back to how it was in the beginning? Let me share a story about someone who experienced the darkness. The story goes like this. The void, or dark place for me, was the most peaceful moment I've ever experienced in my life. I don't remember anything about who I'd miss or who'd miss me back. I felt as if I was waiting so eagerly and patiently for something so spectacular to happen and anxious to get there. That there never happens. I just woke up, but I do recall a light stream mist flowing through my body, through my being. The best way I can describe it is the Pink Floyd Dark Side album cover, without the rainbow. I was relieved and upset I got brought back. As I was searching up people's experiences with the dark void, I got a lot of mixed opinions about it. On one side we have people that are perfectly okay with the darkness, and they find it peaceful. But on one side we got people who are disappointed by that, and they will wish to see their family members at least one more time. Personally for me, I don't really mind the dark void. I think that it's a very poetic way to go out. You just return to the same place you were before you were born. I do want there to be something after death, but when I die and there's really nothing afterwards, I don't think I'll be too mad about it. Now that will bring us to the end of this video, and this video was definitely the darkest video I've made. My whole life, I haven't been obsessed with death, but I've definitely been intrigued by it. Bro, that sounds really sad. Tell me what you guys think happens after you die. Whether you believe in heaven or hell, reincarnation, or simply nothing. I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say. Now for the final thing before I end this video, what do I think happens after death? Me personally. When it comes to me, what I truly believe, what I personally think happens after death is